Welcome to MVP, the My Visionz Podcast. I'm your host, Lindo, and I want to start by thanking God for through Him, all things are possible. Next, I want to give a huge shout out to my beautiful family because their love and their support inspires me every single day. Today, we're diving into a topic that's really close to my heart and I'm sure very relatable to every one of you, and that is how overcoming self-doubt builds self-confidence. Let me start with this scripture, which is 2 Timothy chapter 1, verse 7. For God has not given us a spirit of fear, but of power, love, and a sound mind. This verse is a reminder that self-doubt is not a part of our divine inheritance. Instead, we are given the power, the clarity, and the ability to not only love ourselves, but to love others fully as well. Let me ask you, how often do you second guess yourself? How often do you let self-doubt hold you back from chasing your dreams? Sometimes self-doubt can feel like an unshakable weight, but what if I told you that it's actually a stepping stone to building self-confidence? And that's what we're going to be breaking down here today. On the surface, self-doubt is like an enemy. It whispers in your ear, you're not good enough, or what if you fail? It seems like a negative force holding us back. But let's take a closer look. Self-doubt is simply a sign that you're stepping out of your comfort zone. When doing this, you may encounter what we experience as anxiety. And as Myron Golden once said, and I quote, "Anxiety is not what's happening right now. It's about what you perceive could happen in the future. It's a fear of a perceived threat, not a real one." End quote. So when simplifying it, self-doubt is not meant to paralyze us. It's meant to challenge us, and by us grasping to faith, you will overcome the fear and take action. So think of it this way. If you're doubting yourself, it means you're reaching for something higher than where you are right now. It's proof that you care about what you're doing. And the problem is, you can't let the doubt win instead of using it as motivation for you to grow. Let me share a personal story with you. There was a time when I doubted myself so much that I almost didn't start my clothing brand, My Visionz Clothing Brand. I kept thinking to myself, what if I fail? What if no one supports me? What if I'm not creative enough? But then one day, I had to stop and I asked myself, what's worse, trying and failing, or not trying and living with all the regret of not trying at all? New York City. I remembered all the times I used faith to maneuver through my doubt, whether it was creating youth programming to serve the community in which I worked in, whether it was to pass tests or classes that were difficult, or even just being a better version of myself on my vegan journey. Each time I faced my fear, I gained confidence. Why? Because I had faith that I can complete the task before me that inspired me to take action to do it. There's an erroneous belief out there that self-confidence is something that you wake up with one day. And I hate to break it to you, but it's not. It actually begins as a decision rooted in faith. This faith is to reach a desired outcome. You intentionally and repeatedly decide to move closer to that desired outcome, which leads you to overcoming that fear, to take action. Now, let's look at how self-doubt is often portrayed in our society and on social media. Going through any of your social media apps, it seems that everyone's got it together. We see highlight reels of success, but not the behind the scenes struggle. So it kind of removes that step from you actually making that connection with your own personal struggles and self-doubts. Society tells us that confidence means being fearless, but that's not real life. To share my opinion, true confidence first comes from being aware of your doubts, then being intentional of what is your expectation. When you have your expectation, you follow the expectation by embracing the faith to achieve the desired outcome. So it's not about perfection, it's about persistence. It's about making the decision, which if you break down the word decision or to decide, it means to cut, and you cut yourself off from other options. So therefore you decide on one thing and then you pursue that one thing repeatedly. If you have options, you're going to weigh things that you don't necessarily want to be on the table. Like, I'm a vegan, so I'm not going to entertain the option of meat. I've already decided that I'm going to eat and to live a certain way. So I already eliminated that option. So now I only live in my decision of what I choose to eat. So let's flip the script. What if we saw self-doubt as an opportunity to grow instead of a barrier? What if we celebrated the effort and not just the outcome? So, some tips on how do we overcome self-doubt and build self-confidence. Here are just a few steps. Acknowledge your doubt, number one. But you also have to remember that it does not define you. Step number two, confidence is built through taking action based on achieving your expectation or desired outcome. It is not waiting for doubt to disappear. Step number three, celebrate small wins. Every step forward is proof that you're capable, and you're proving to yourself that you have the faith within yourself and in God to help bring you to where you need to be. Number four, surround yourself with positivity. Lean on supportive people who uplift you, who inspire you. Make sure you're reading daily material. For me, I read my Torah Tanakh. For other people, it may need to be a motivational guide. It may need to be watching someone on YouTube, much like what's happening right now, that's going to bring some inspiration to you. Step number five, affirm your strengths. Speak life over yourself daily. Write it down. Not everyone is visual. Some people are audible. So sometimes you have to repeat it. And you repeat certain things over to yourself. You rewire your brain to see the world in that way. It's changing the paradigm. It's expanding your consciousness. It's rewiring the neurons in your brain that's going to help you to see the world in a different light. Here's an affirming statement for you. I am stronger than my doubts. I am capable, resilient, and destined for greatness. So, before we wrap up, remember this. You are not your fear. Self-doubt may visit you, but it doesn't have to stay. You have the power through faith, the persistence, and the courage to overcome it. Thank you for tuning in to the first episode of MVP, the My Visionz Podcast. Again, I'm your host, Brandon. If this episode resonated with you, share it with someone who needs to hear encouragement. Don't forget to subscribe, comment, and like. I love to hear your thoughts. Until next time, stay inspired, stay confident, and keep chasing your vision.